Red. He's often considered the strongest trainer in the franchise. Well, Ash is pretty much seen as the opposite, well, besides the recent episodes. However, it's fun to look back at him during the first few seasons of the anime and see just how inexperienced he was. So today, I'm going to be trying to beat Pokemon FireRed only using Ash's final team in the first series. Now, you're probably thinking that this will be a breeze judging off of his more recent teams. However, this guy did not know how to evolve back then, and let me tell you. We get Pikachu, which is my only electric coverage, Pidgeotto, who is pretty much useless later on, Bulbasaur and Squirtle, who are first form starters, Butterfree, who could actually be a star player in this run, and Charizard. Now, Charizard makes me kind of happy, but the rest of his team kinda sucks. I'm gonna try my best to not make this a Charizard solo run, as that would be really boring. What level will I need to be in order to win? Well, watch to find out. So, of course, I start the game as usual, so let's fast forward to when I can actually catch new team members. I first catch a Pidgey, who will honestly only be really useful for the first few gyms, and then a Caterpie, who I will evolve into Butterfree. If you've seen my first 6 encounters video, you'll know that this thing is really good with its type coverage and status moves. He's also probably the only way I'm going to be able to beat Brock at a low level, so I'm expecting him to be probably the second most useful team member. Speaking of which, onto Brock. I knew that I needed to cripple Onix since Butterfree would get one shot by Rock Tomb, so after taking Geodude out, I switched to Pikachu to paralyze Onix, and then I switched to Pidgey to ruin his accuracy. Then I just finished him off with Butterfree. I actually had to do this battle twice since, again, I'm the whole circus and I accidentally replaced Confusion with Poison Powder. Man, I gotta start paying more attention. So I don't get any new team members for a while, so that means that my team will gain more levels from the upcoming routes, which is actually really good since I'm pretty underleveled right now. After a bit, I'm at Rival 2 now, and he was easy. Pidgeotto went down with 2 Thunder Shocks, and then Rattata went down with a few more Thunder Shocks. Aber can't fight back, so it was yet another easy knockout, and last was Bulbasaur. I switched to Butterfree, and he thankfully missed with Sleep Powder, so I just 3-shot him with Confusion. So obviously you can't catch the starters in the normal game, so I changed some of the routes to have the starters found. I made Charmander found in Route 24, which is where Ash originally caught him in the anime. He should be the best team member once he fully evolves. Right after that, I went to fight Misty. I knew that Pikachu would be too frail to win this alone. Staryu goes down easily, but Starmie brings Pikachu to 15 HP with 1 Water Pulse, so I only managed to land 1 Thunder Shock before going down. Luckily, Butterfree has both Thief and Sleep Powder, so I was able to take her out without too big of a problem. So again, you all know that you can't catch Bulbasaur in game since it's a starter, so I changed it so that you can catch it on the route north of Vermilion. I don't think he's going to be really that useful since he's a first form and he's slow and he's a grass type, but maybe he might come in handy for like Sleep Powder and Leech Seed. I don't know, I guess we'll have to see. Fast forward and now we're on Rival 3, and I gained quite a few levels in between. I get a lucky crit on Pidgeotto to one-shot it, and Raticate unfortunately takes me out. I finish it off with Bulbasaur, and next is Kadabra. I switch to Pidgeotto but take big damage in the process. Last is Ivysaur, and I go for Gust. He puts me to sleep, but at the last turn I take it out with 1 more Gust. Now, Surge was actually a bit of a challenge. Charmeleon is too weak at this level to do much, even with Dig. I switch him out with Pidgeotto after he didn't one-shot Voltorb. 1 more Quick Attack brings Pikachu to red health, but I go down. I switch to Bulbasaur and Leech Seed him as he heals Pikachu. I take it out after a few more Razor Leafs. So now I'm at Raichu with plenty of health. I get a first turn Leech Seed, which basically guarantees the win. None of my team can really do much to his Raichu since it's fast and hits hard, so I just stall him out until Leech Seed takes him out. Anyway, fast forward to Erica, and my team has gotten a lot stronger. Victory Bell goes for Stun Spore, as it always loves doing, which means that I'll always be slower. I take it out with 2 Embers and switch to Pidgeotto so that Charmeleon wouldn't get hurt. I take Tangela out, and last is Vileplume. However, my health is low. I sack Pidgeotto and go for 1 more Sand Attack, and with Charmeleon I get some crazy misluck from Vileplume, which allows me to take it out. Next is Giovanni, and as usual, his Onix and Rhyhorn didn't stand a chance to Squirtle. However, Kangaskhan was the big threat. As you can see, I switched to Pidgeotto and try to lower its accuracy, but look how much it's doing with just Fake Out. I go down and switch to Pikachu, and I actually managed to do some good damage with Paralysis before going down. I try to go back into Squirtle, but I get taken out. I finish him off with Charmeleon after a few Embers. I'm getting a little worried now. Anyway, next is Rival 4, but of course, as usual, he is not really that big of a challenge. Honestly, I kind of expect him to be the last easy trainer for probably a while, because of the fact that these trainers are getting stronger. I know I say this in like every video, but this part of the game is always nice because it opens a lot of the map, which in turn means a lot of experience. This is especially true for this run. I mean, just look how terribly underleveled I am. I don't know how this always happens, but I am not getting past Koga like this. Alright, I'll see you after a few hours of grinding. Finally, after tons of grinding, here's the team. I'm still underleveled and most of my team is still in 2-shot range, but with Charizard and Butterfree, it should still hopefully be enough to be the next few gym leaders. Alright, let's see if I can beat Koga. I one-shot Coughing with Pikachu, but next is Muck and he has high special defense. I switched to Butterfree and I put it to sleep and spam Side Beam, but I'm not doing much and his raised evasion messes me up a bit. After 2 Hyper Potions and several misses from me, Butterfree goes down. After also losing Pikachu, I take it out with Pidgeotto. Next is Coughing, but I decide to just end the battle with Charizard, who makes quick work of the rest of his team. Now we are on Rival 5, and he was actually really easy. I'm beginning to see what role my members will be playing for the final fight. Pikachu takes down Pidgeot with 1 Thunder, then he one-shots Gyarados with Thunderbolt, and again gets another one-shot on Growlithe with Thunder. Next is Alakazam, so I switch to Squirtle to possibly do some chip damage, and he just goes for Future Sight. Over and over and over again. Can someone explain why this happens? Like, even during the turns after using Future Sight, he just keeps spamming it. Anyway, that makes him an easy KO, so last is Venusaur. I sack Squirtle and finish him off with Charizard. Right after that is the second Giovanni fight, and I forgot that he led with Nidorino, so I switched to Butterfree to take it out, and right after that I one-shot Rhyhorn with Giga Drain. He sends out Kangaskhan next, so I put it to sleep and switched to Charizard, but he wakes up right after. Surprisingly, Mega Punch didn't really do much and 2 Flamethrowers took it out. Last is Nidoqueen, but again, it was an easy 2-shot. You know, I'm really trying my best not to just make this a Butterfree and Charizard duo run. Next up is Sabrina, but I just used Charizard to take her entire team out. Okay, I hear you, but don't worry, I'm not going to be using Charizard for the next 2 gyms, so you'll be seeing the others get their time too. Okay, so you know how I just said I wouldn't use Charizard? Well, I'm sorry, but I would have lost without him here. Squirtle surprisingly one-shotted Blaine's first 3 Pokemon, but then Arcanine swept through my entire team, leaving just Charizard, and he came to the rescue. Okay, I definitely will not use him for the Giovanni fight, okay? So I finally kept my promise and I didn't use Charizard at all for this fight. Bulbasaur managed to take out 3 of his Pokemon, and then for the Nidos, I just used Butterfree and put them to sleep, and then I used my new 100 power Dream Eater to take them out. I wonder how useful this move will be for the Elite Four, mainly for Bruno. Before we can take on the Elite Four though, I have to battle Rival 6 first. He leads with Pidgeot, who surprisingly doesn't go down with 1 Thunder. Thankfully, I survive on just 3 HP. Next is Rhyhorn, so I switch to Bulbasaur to take it out with 1 Razor Leaf. Next is Alakazam, so I put it to sleep, then I Leech Seed it. It again just spammed Future Sight for some reason. I tried finishing it with Pikachu and gained some health back, but it woke up and actually went for something other than Future Sight. I switched to Charizard to take it out. Next is Gyarados, so I switched to Butterfree and put it to sleep, and then I just eat all of its hopes and dreams. For Growlithe, I just switched to Squirtle and take it out. Last is Venusaur, so I sack Squirtle, then I just put it to sleep again and eat all of its dreams as well. That was pretty easy. First is Lorelei, and this was pretty intense. I hit Thunder and it does quite a lot to Dugong, and it just uses Hail, so I take the opportunity to set up Light Screen and take it out the next turn. Next is Cloyster, and you can see me do a bunch of random stuff for some reason. Not sure if my finger slipped, but eventually it goes down to 1 Thunderbolt. Next is Slowbro, and I go for Thunder and it actually does a lot due to a crit, but she sets up Amnesia and fully heals. I try to go for Thunder, I miss, I try again and I hit, but it's doing less than half. She takes me out with 1 Surf. I switch to Bulbasaur to put it to sleep and Leech Seed it. After Bulbasaur goes down, I finish Slowbro off with Butterfree, but not before getting dangerously close to fainting. Fifth is Jinx, so I sacrifice Pidgeotto to get a safe switch into Charizard, and from there I just finish off the last 2 members. Next is Bruno, and this was crazy lucky. I take out Onix with ease, and then I get lucky with Hitmonchan by putting it to sleep and it missing Rock Tomb twice, which now means that I'm at Machamp with full HP. I luckily am able to outspeed and put it to sleep. I go for Dream Eater, but it wakes up the very next turn and one-shots me with Rock Tomb. Now I'm kinda panicking. I switch to Pidgeotto to try and Feather Dance, but it just uses Cross Chop and takes me out in 1 hit. I switch to Bulbasaur to try to put it to sleep and seed it, but I miss, and it puts me to red health. And then I get a clutch Quick Claw activation and seed it. Oh my god, could that not have been a better time? I send out Charizard to barely finish him. Now I'm fairly certain that I've won. Aerial Ace is doing almost all of Hitmonlee's health, and his second Onix can't really do much to Charizard. Now, Agatha. This fight was pretty interesting. I start by putting Gengar to sleep and then using Dream Eater and Psychic to take it out. She sends out Golbat, so I switch to Pikachu to try and get in the light screen, but of course it gets a lucky crit. I switch to Squirtle to deal damage with Ice Beam before going down, and now Charizard can easily finish it off. Next is Arbok, but my Flamethrower is doing more than half and she just uses Screech. For the second Gengar, I switch to Pidgeotto to remove the defense drop, and then just use Feather Dance twice to ruin her attack. Once Pidgeotto goes down, I have this really close battle with Gengar as we fight to put each other to sleep. I managed to win though, and with just Haunter remaining, it's an easy win. Next is Lance, and I managed to get past his Gyarados and Dragonair just fine, but his Aerodactyl just rips through my entire team. Well, that's annoying. The Aerodactyl I had in my Can't Evolve video was terrible. Why is his so good? I try again after leveling up Charizard and Butterfree, but it still goes the same way. I actually can't believe that this one fight is so hard. And the worst part is, I'm pretty sure Lance is going to be the only really hard fight left. What I'm really regretting is teaching Pidgeotto Steel Wing, because if I had taught that to Charizard, I could have potentially got some defense boosts off of Dragonair, which could have helped for Aerodactyl. Now, it's just wasted on a really weak Pokemon. I literally just need someone to outspeed Aerodactyl. Again, I don't want to make this a Charizard only run, so I think I'll have to grind up Pikachu, Butterfree, and Squirtle. This is really tedious. Like, I'd say that solo runs are actually easier in this scenario because it's just one Pokemon that you have to train up. Whereas here, I need to know who I need to train as well as what level they need to be. I've been trying this fight for several hours now and it's just not happening. After some more grinding, I try again and this was just insane. If anything, it just shows how sick I was of retrying the same battle over and over again. His first two Pokemon go down as usual and out comes Aerodactyl. We have officially crossed the border that divided losing and winning. Charizard outspeeds. Not only that, but he flinches it. I was ecstatic. So ecstatic in fact that I almost threw the entire battle after making some bad moves against Dragonite. I ended up winning with 11 HP with only Charizard left. I definitely could have done that better, but a win is a win. Finally, we have our rival. He leads with Pidgeot and I go for Thunderbolt, which isn't a one-shot, and he goes for Sand Attack, so I ended up taking it out with barely any HP left. Next is Rhydon, so I switched to Butterfree thinking that he'd go for Earthquake, but he used Rock Tomb. How convenient. I try Bulbasaur and he also goes down, but luckily Squirtle outspeeds and one-shots with Surf. Third is Venusaur and his only attacking move is Solar Beam, so I get in a free Blizzard and switch to Charizard to double resist and take him out with Flamethrower. Next is Gyarados and I sacrifice Pidgeotto to safely get Pikachu in and one-shot it with Thunderbolt. Now it's just Alakazam and Arcanine left. I set up Light Screen on Alakazam while he spams Future Sight like he always does, and I eventually go down. I choose Squirtle to take the Future Sight, so now it's a 1v2. Charizard finishes Alakazam with Aerial Ace, so now it's just down to the last Pokemon. We trade hits, but I'm doing more damage, and with the final Earthquake, I win. And there we have it. Pokemon FireRed with only Ash's original team. It's no wonder why he lost in the Indigo League in the anime. His team was terrible. Having to use multiple low-leveled weak Pokemon against level 60 fully evolved Pokemon was just crazy. Thank God we at least got to use Butterfree and Charizard. Surprisingly though, the majority of this run was actually pretty easy. I'd say that it wasn't until the very end that there was a big spike in difficulty. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Also comment down any ideas that you have for future videos because they're much appreciated. Anyway, again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all soon.